Welcome to the leading podcast for long-term weight management. Subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jenny on all social media channels. You can also sign up to the newsletter to receive frequent content and tips for weight loss success.
Hey guys, welcome to the Power Over Food podcast. I am your host, Jenny McDonald. I am the Food Freedom Fairy, and I help create the magic of weight loss without the diet. I know, it sounds hard to believe until you've worked with me, but the truth is I have spent almost 20 years working in the dieting industry, and I've moved away because I've just seen so many women go round and round this cycle and just really berate themselves for not having enough willpower, not being motivated enough, not being able to stick to their diet, that I couldn't watch them do that anymore. So I've created my own platform, my own programs where I coach women to have a better relationship with food, a more peaceful relationship with themselves, to love themselves, and to get the weight loss results that they want to keep it off long term as well. Before I dive into today's masterclass, can I just say thank you for listening, first of all. Whether you are just listening for the first time or you are an avid listener, thank you. I really appreciate you being here. And actually, if you do find these podcasts helpful, please press share, send it to someone, share it on your social media, tag me and write me a review. Let's share the love, because my aim is to help as many women as possible. Women like me who have struggled for so long with food and their relationship with themselves. And the other thing before I dive in, I just wanted to mention that next Wednesday, the 10th of May, I will be running a free masterclass. So if you're listening before Wednesday, the 10th of May, please come and join me. It will be live on a Zoom link, so you will need to register to grab the link. And I will be teaching you how to manifest weight loss. So as an energy alignment coach, I have lots of tools. I know manifesting can sound mumbo jumbo, and I've talked about this in a previous podcast, but I have lots of tools to help you really align your energy and tune into the frequency of losing weight with ease and speed, which after all, it is what we all want. And actually, if you're not ready to break free from the diet, but you still want these tools, they work beautifully alongside any diet that you choose to do. So that's next Wednesday, the 10th of May, how to manifest weight loss. So today I wanted to talk about something that comes up really often for my clients, and that is about managing life. One of my favourite sayings is how we manage our weight is about how we manage life or life's challenges. And actually, managing life's challenges is about how we manage ourselves in those situations. Now, I appreciate there are some awful traumatic situations that we can have in our lives that it doesn't matter how much work you've done on yourself, it is really difficult to comprehend what is going on, and you need some time and space to be able to move through that and sit with those emotions. But what I'm talking about is general day-to-day life circumstances, things that happen that throw us off course. And when we learn to manage our thoughts and manage our emotions, we are able to react better to these situations that are quite often not life-threatening, not that bad, but that would normally send us over the edge when we're having a challenging day, when things are just feel like they're getting on top of us. I want you to just think about, how do you manage life? How do you react in day-to-day situations? An example I used to share in my groups years ago was about me getting really irate with my other half at the time for not being tidy. And I would come home from work and I would literally fly off the handle and have a real meltdown about the state of the kitchen, the fact that he'd not put things in the dishwasher or not done just general things. Now, I've changed since I've had a child, but try to be really tidy. And at that point, I was really house proud. As I say, I have relaxed a little bit because I think you have to a little bit with children. But I couldn't cope with the mess. But what I recognised when I started to reflect was I was seeing his actions as disrespectful to me and that he didn't love me, which is really ridiculous. The reality was, when you step back, he's got one way, I've got another way. We're different people. And sometimes that works, sometimes it didn't. In this case, it didn't work long term. But I think I use that example to say, what is going on for you underneath? So when you have a really strong reaction to something, try and step back and think, what is actually going on for me? Why am I feeling this way? And a good exercise to do is literally just write down a column of thoughts and a column for feelings. And just, what are you feeling? So just think about the last time you felt really uncomfortable, whether that was anger, whether it was sadness, but you just really were like, and you couldn't shake it off. What was going on for you? So jot down your feelings and then think, what was I thinking? For example, going back to my kitchen example, my partner at the time, I was thinking, why do I have to do everything? But then when I asked again, okay, what else am I thinking? I was thinking, he just doesn't care about the house. Okay, so he doesn't care about the house. What else am I thinking? He doesn't care about me. Ooh, that's interesting. He doesn't care about how I feel. Okay. Oh, well, if he doesn't care about how I feel, then he doesn't have any love for me. He doesn't love me. Wow, that's really, really strong. So can you see, by kind of keep asking yourself, what am I thinking here? And what else am I thinking? What am I making this mean about me? Or what am I making it mean about this situation, about me and the other person? And in that moment, that was like my underlying thoughts. And that really hit me hard. That was what I would call your hot thought, the one that really kind of gets you and you're like, oh, wow, do I really think that? And then what you do is you can step back and think, well, is that true? Do I have evidence to say that is true? Or do I have evidence to say it isn't true? And in that moment, the evidence that it is true, is someone leaving something untidy evidence? Probably not. The evidence to say, he does care, he does love me. And then I list all of the things that we had at that time that were special and that showed our love for each other or showed his love for me. That's just an example of working through your thoughts. And I'm not sure that's the best example to share, but it's the one I came up with this morning. And there are so many situations when we're sitting in traffic and we get ourselves really irate. And then it's like, what am I making this mean? I'm making this mean that the people waiting for me will think I'm always late. They'll think I've got no respect for them. They'll think I can't keep good time. They'll think this, they'll think that. So what my underlying fear is, people won't like me because I'm late. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, is that true? What evidence do I have to say that's true? And so on. And also, what can I do right in this moment? I can't change the traffic jam, but what I can do is be grateful that I'm not in the accident that's ahead. I can be grateful that I've got my phone and that I can send a message and say, I'm really sorry, I'm going to be late. I can be mindful and use my time wisely, whether that is just to listen to the radio, whether it's to list all the great things about my life, to set some intentions for the day, whether it's to replan my day. So it is about how you respond to life's situations. And the thing is, when we're more in flow with our energy and we're operating on a higher frequency, so when we're vibrating on a higher emotion, if you like, then we handle these situations better instantly. So we don't need to work through our thoughts so much because we are in flow. So what do I mean by when we're in flow? And I'm going to talk about this more in the masterclass, but we have 3 different types of states of energy that we operate from. And one is being in flow. And that is when we are really receptive to life and life just goes with ease. You get all your jobs done in record time. You have time to go out for that walk that you didn't think you were going to get in. You bump into an old friend and you have coffee and it's so lovely to see her. It's just like everything is happening. Your relationship's good, your job's going good, and everything just feels like, wow, I'm really on track. Yeah, life is really good. So they're the moments when you're completely in flow. And when you're in that place, when things come to test us, when we have challenges in our lives, things don't quite go to plan, we handle them better because we're operating on a higher frequency. And again, I'll talk more about the frequencies in the masterclass. Are you in flow right now? And what can you do to be in flow? And being in flow might be doing things that you know make you feel really, really good. And often the things that make us feel really good, we don't always get the time to do because life is so busy. And that can be something different for everybody. It might be meditating, it might be doing your daily gratitude, it might be doing some alignment work, which again, I'll share in the masterclass and I've talked about before. Or it might be going for a walk, it might be nourishing your body and you don't get time to eat healthy and go for that walk because life is busy. But you know when you're doing all those things, you feel better. So what can you do to make sure you stay in flow and therefore you handle life's challenges, if you like? Now, the other thing I wanted to think about is accepting the situation as it is, because I think quite often we go into situations with expectations of how things should be. We judge situations, we judge people. And imagine if you just went into every meeting, into every conversation, into every school pickup with no expectations and no judgment for anybody else, because we're all just doing our best. That friend that is irritating you because she hasn't done something she said she was going to do, no judgment. What's going on for her right now? Yeah? She's just doing her best. Accepting situations and thinking, this is what it is, and what can I do here to help the situation, rather than to judge or to be cross with the situation. And that's the same with our weight. For example, I've got lipedema, and the last few months haven't been great for me with food. And as I said on the last podcast, I think I'll record a whole podcast about that. But maybe I'm not quite ready to do that and talk about it so detailed. But I could think, I'm probably going through perimenopause now. I'm 44, maybe it's the start of perimenopause, and it's triggering my lipedema, and therefore my legs and arms are growing, and therefore I can't do anything about this. So I might as well just eat. I might as well just accept that I'm a little bit older now. We can accept that and we can make excuses, or we can accept the situation. I have an illness, it is lipedema, it's an abnormal collection of fat cells. It makes it more difficult for me because there's certain foods that cause inflammation, there's certain ways my body works and my lymphatic system works. However, I know when I'm moving my body more, when I'm doing some lymph drainage, when I'm dry brushing, when I am nourishing my body with the right foods that aren't inflammatory for me, I know how great I feel. So it's accepting the situation but not using it as an excuse. How often have we said to ourselves, well, I'm getting a little bit older now, well, I haven't got time because I've got children, or whatever else it is. If you want to change something in your life, you have to accept your situation and then work out how you are going to change it. So I know that might sound a little bit of tough love, but I've had to give myself some tough love the last few months, and had to really think, right, where did things change with my relationship with food? What has been going on for me, and how can I realign what I was doing so well at over the last few years? So the thoughts I want to leave you with is, how are you going to show up for yourself? How do you show up for yourself no matter what is going on? Again, it looks differently for each person, but I know that I feel good when I've washed my hair, put my makeup on, when I'm wearing something I feel nice in. How often do you throw clothes on that you don't really feel good in, but you do it because it's like, oh, wow, these will do. Yeah, when we show up for ourselves, we automatically raise our vibration. We act differently. We feel better about ourselves. So we're already in a different space to tackle the day, to tackle life's challenges, and to move forward. And if you are on a journey with your weight, as I said at the start of this podcast, the better you tackle life means the better you will manage your relationship with food, because you won't need to self-soothe with food. You won't need to emotionally eat, because you've just gone, okay, that's happened, I'll deal with it, I'll move on. So my last thought, as I said, is how can you show up for yourself? Little challenge for you for the next 7 days. Can you plan your week? Can you make sure you've got your clothes planned so that you feel great in everything you wear? Can you make sure that you've planned in time for you? Whether that is your movement, whether that is time to plan your food, whether it is time for some self-care, time to meet a friend, time to go for a coffee, time to read a book, whatever it looks like for you, how can you show up for yourself this week and get the best possible outcome for the week? How can you live life on a higher vibration, feel good every day, so that you can smash your weight loss goals? So I'm going to leave you with those thoughts. Hopefully I will see you on Wednesday at my masterclass, and I wish you a brilliant week.